What's up again, everyone? It's Mr. Harris again. I'm going to be giving you some math jewels, and this time we're continuing to work with right triangle trig, but now we are going to solve the triangle. And typically when you see the direction that tells you to solve the triangle, they want you to find the measure of all three angles of the triangle as well as the length of all three sides of the triangle. So let's go ahead and get right into the first example. And in this first example, what we want to do is we need to figure out where do we start. Sometimes that's the most difficult part of the process. So here in step one, the first thing we want to do is we need to find the value of the third angle. That is the simplest thing because we have a 90-degree angle here, 40-degree angle here. So we want to find the measure. So find the third angle measure. Okay, and we are going to find this third angle measure simply by saying we know the sum of all three angles of any triangle is 180. So we're going to say 180 minus 90 plus 40, and that's going to equal the measure of angle B in this case. Now, some people may simply add up the 90 and the 40 and then subtract it from 180. There's a few different ways we can get this process, but that's up to you. I'm going to stick with this way. So here I have 180 minus 130, which equals the measure of angle B, and 50 degrees is equal to the measure of angle B. So we can go ahead and put 50 degrees there. Now for step two, we want to, there's several things that you can do in step two. We want to find the other two sides that are given. In this case, these are the legs of the triangle. Segment BC and segment AC are legs of this triangle. So I'm going to start by finding this segment BC simply because I'm going to work with the given angle. So notice that segment BC is opposite angle A, which is given, and then we have the hypotenuse. So since we're working with the opposite over the hypotenuse, we want to say that the sine of 40 degrees is equal to x in this case over 3. Okay, x is segment BC. So we want to multiply both sides by 3 in order to get rid of this fraction. So 3 times the sine of 40 is going to give us x, or the length of segment BC. And when I plug that into the calculator, we're going to get 1.9 is equal to x, or we can also write this as 1.9 is equal to segment BC. So that's the second step in this process. So now we have all three angles and we have the hypotenuse and one leg. So we need to find this third leg, which is segment AC. So step three, we want to find the other measure of the side, or the other length of a side. So in this case, if we still work with the originally given angle, which is angle A, we're going to use, this is adjacent to angle A. So we have the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which in this case, we're going to use the cosine. So the cosine of 40 degrees is equal to x over 3. And once again, we want to get rid of this fraction. So we say 3 times the cosine of 40, and that's going to give us x. We put that in the calculator. We get 2.3 is equal to x, or we can say 2.3 is equal to segment AC. Now, I want to make mention that my personal preference is to continue working with the original angle that they give you. So this is why I use the sine of 40 degrees here and the cosine of 40 degrees here. Now, I can work with this angle B and do pretty much the same thing. However, I just like to work with the angle measures that they give me. So there are alternate ways of finding the lengths of the legs of this triangle. This is just one way. That's the beauty of mathematics. There's typically multiple ways to do something.